And we're live. Good evening, everyone. Susan Bachelder here. Welcome to another episode of Hangout with Mentors. We show up here every Wednesday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a different topic, but it's always value-based, something to do with your business, a very focused topic, something to do with either building your business, a strategy, following up, or something that will add to your life and business at the same time. Always something thought-provoking, and then we build it out into a conversation, essentially is what we do. So tonight I'm here with Rob Hanley on the panel. If you're watching live, you might see that his name says Susan Bachelder too, but he's really
know why.
So tonight our topic is the anatomy of the funnel, and that's the sales funnel, that is, and why you need to know. So we're just kind of dig into the simplicity and the power of a funnel, just really candidly, but hopefully to really impact just that. How just if you keep it simple, it's actually more powerful than anything. Don't overcomplicate it. And if we keep it to 3 steps: generate a lead, follow up, invite them to view the product, the community, the culture, the value, and then have that closing conversation. And actually, before we turned on record, Rob and I were going back and forth that neither one of us really hard close people. We follow up with them, we invite them, and invite them to make a decision, essentially. So we'll talk about that afterwards. And I think it's kind of cool when we do things in succession. So maybe the next one should be that conversation about follow-up. And then maybe we should do after that one, that decision-making parts. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes out. But it would be really cool if we did the 3 in succession for everybody. So
Yep.
So yeah. So on that note, I think I'm just going to screen share to give a visual of the funnel,
Really?
Rob, and that's where I'll start off, and then I made a little mind map to just kind of show that as well.
Okay.
So excuse my very busy desktop. I haven't closed down my screens, so you'll see.
Nice little graphic. Excellent.
So this, I'm actually showing in this article I wrote a few years ago. So this is my graphic that I created.
Very nice.
So in the top, this is the funnel. This is what we're talking about. And I split it up into 2 sides because I think sometimes people are missing some of the pieces and the graduation of the different phases that people go through. Yep. So your traffic that goes into here, and that's your lead generation, whatever it is, whether you ordered solo ads, whether you're calling surveyed leads, whether you've done some Facebook ads, whether it's a social media post, you've done something to generate a lead and capture their information once you've captured their attention. So some call it prospecting. It's lead. Either way, it's lead generation, and that's the stage that this is the actions that you're at.
Yep.
So you've captured their attention. There's more, and the reason for the shape of the funnel is there's more people at the top here. And as you share the information with them, there's going to be less and less that are saying, yes, I want more. Yes, I want more. So at this level, there's less people in there, but you've got their interest. You've captured their interest. They're curious. They want to know more. They're opening your emails. They're answering your text message. They're showing up to events like this or radio shows, or they're going back to your funnel and doing that. So your action point at this point, you're cultivating, you're building a relationship. Then as you go further into that, you've reached a point where they have some desire. They're seeing themselves in it, and they're thinking that they can do it, or they're at the next level of their point of the decision. And this is where it's sometimes called positioning. So this is where you have a different kind of conversation, and we can dig into that. And actually, Rob is really good at discussing that kind of position. And I think this section right here we will follow. We will. Let's do that, Rob. Let's record like a follow-up hangout, just so
Sure.
that we can just talk about the kind of the simplicity of the funnel at this point.
Yep.
And then the bottom, well, this is the closing, or the point that they make that decision, they take action, essentially. So yeah, that's the visual of that. And then this little map that I threw together, it's just really, honestly, really simple. I was making supper while I was making it. So this is taking the funnel to a different direction. Over here is the top of the funnel where you're doing your lead generation.
Yep.
So I didn't even put all the pieces over here, but you've got either social media where you've brought them in, or classifieds, there's solo ads, there's a gazillion ways.
Video, traffic.
Yeah, video, YouTube, you name it. I'll build this out to a better mind map. Here's your capture page, the landing page. This is where you capture their information, their email, maybe just their email, maybe their name, email, and phone number.
Yep.
Then up here, by capturing that information, it goes directly into your autoresponder, and then they're going to get this series of emails.
Yep.
So the call to action of these series of emails is up to you, but I demonstrated a few of them. This is, I would highly suggest, and I bet you'll agree with this, Rob, is a page where they get to know you a bit.
Yep.
So a bridge page, a sandwich page, there's a video of you, you're sharing a bit more about you, and you're connecting them, and then you forward them on to what would be like review the sales page. What is the product? What's the comp plan? Let's talk about that.
That's right.
So there's the simplicity of this flow. Meanwhile, they're getting these emails. You want to send them back to that in between, that bridge page, sandwich page that they're getting to know you.
Yep.
Send them back to that. And you also want to, now I should have some arrows going directly to this page, but I usually like to do that after, like, so maybe email number 5 or contact number 5, then I'm sending them straight to there. In between, other content. So whether it's a radio show, down here is a conference call. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit. So we've got radio show, webinar, like maybe something like this.
Yep.
A conference call. So you're sending them to that and then back to here.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Right?
Yep.
So simple. And in between all of these points, there's touch points. Like, so maybe there's a text message here, some sort of contact, but there's touch points with you. Maybe you're sending them a video or whatever. You want them to get to know you.
Yep.
And really, that is as simple as a funnel is. So if you think about 1, 2, 3, this right here, this is 1, 2, and then you're asking for the decision over here. That's it.
Yep.
3 steps. Keep it simple, and then that's when it's powerful. Rob, over to you.
Okay, so can you put the graphic back up?
Yeah, you want the map?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's funny. It gets me I really like to see it. It gets me real excited to kind of see all the stuff that's in here. And let me just say, for the person that's out there that is, if you're looking at this and you're like, oh my God, like this looks like some kind of college, kind of a thing with all the circles, and I feel overwhelmed or whatever. First of all, let me just tell you, it's really, really, really simple. Okay. It is so basically simple. And I know you, well, maybe it's simple for you, but here's the thing. Over on the left-hand side where you have all of her social media, that's just one way that she's generating a lead. But there's only 3 steps. And the first part is, number 1, we generate a lead, okay? I like to always say, when we're talking about generating a lead in this business, or what we're doing is we get found by people that are looking for what? Well, they're actually looking for us. They're looking for what we have. They want they've tried a bunch of different things, and they're looking for something that's going to work, and something that they can do, and it's going to fit into their lifestyle, and the right people, and all the kind of things like that. They're looking for us. So step number 1, as we say, generate a lead, but I like to actually say that step number 1 is we are found by somebody that's looking. We can purchase traffic and have somebody come right to our page. We can YouTube, we can Instagram, we can do all these things, but somebody's going to go, wow, that looks interesting. I think I'll take a look at that more. That's step number 1, and that's not hard at all. In fact, you can really have real people coming to your page and your site and your stuff in the first day that you get started. So then they have to go to what a capture page obviously is just what it explains. The whole purpose of the page is they don't just look at your offer and then they're off doing something else. There's a kind of a buy-in, and it's marketing terms. It's called a micro commitment, and they have to put their name and their email in, really an actual valid and good email, and then. The cool part is that everybody loves automation. So there's all of the sequence of emails that Susan has up at the top up here. They're not just emails that are written, but they're emails that are written in first person. So meaning, hey, Fred, it's Susan. Hey, Fred, it's Susan again. Hey, Fred, it's Susan. Hey, Fred, it's Susan. And you can call me and you can, this is what I like and all this stuff like that. They're written in a purposeful way that they actually should come from Susan. And they should be written first person from Susan with all of her contact information and things like that that are built in there. And so either your company provides that for you, your mentor helps you out with that, or you're gonna put this into your own, AWeber system or your own email system. And I don't want to tangent off of there, but this is something that you control, and that every day for X number of days, I'll drill down a little bit. Most autoresponders, most emails, it's just a series of emails. And again, usually it's already all set up for you. When I work with somebody, typically I give them something that's completely done. All of the emails are all written, and they're all first person. They're all pretty much ready to go from the beginning. Like they don't have to go, they can change them and stuff like that, but they don't have to do it. You certainly have the freedom, and you should, as a skill set, kind of dive into the emails a little bit, maybe check out some of the style, how they're written. That's a whole different training in terms of how you write the emails, how many words go across. Like I'm one of those people that I like about 5 words across, you know what I'm talking about. I'm for sure, right, Susan? Like,
Yes.
yeah. So the reason we write these emails, now I'm echoing. Is there we go. That's bad. So we write the emails in this little thin fashion because you can scan back and you can just really easily read it, and they're always in bite-sized chunks. And by the way, your emails are not written for English teachers, okay? Sorry, the whole thing is that it's written for somebody to just kind of take a chunk in and scan and then make sure, yeah, that looks pretty interesting. And the whole reason we even write the emails is we want them to click on something to go back. We want to stay in front of them. So
in fact, on that point, the highest converting emails are almost always written at about between a grade 5 and a grade 7 level.
Yeah,
so you don't want it to be something that they have to like really be reading in depth. It's just real quick, easy information.
Yeah, I love to write things. I love that I feel like I have the ability to write things at a high vocabulary and grammatical level, that I could write something I think that a college professor wouldn't be put off by. But I don't want to communicate. That's not how I want to communicate. I want to communicate in normal, average, everyday kind of stuff. And then it's got to be interesting and fun and some other stuff like that. But most of the time, you're either going to get this email series from your mentor, the person that you're working with, or it's built into the system or something like that. So step number 1 is we generate a lead. Step number 2, what starts to happen is we call it building rapport. And so building rapport is, they start receiving these emails and things like that from you. And once upon a time, that actually was almost sufficient, because it was kind of so new. People would literally think, wow, like you're emailing me every day. And they still kind of think that, even though you're still contacting them. However, now part of it, we say we build rapport, particularly if we're selling anything like a high ticket. We're marketing, we're marketing something when they're going to spend thousands of dollars to get started. We want to contact and touch them. So one of the things I like to do is after they pass through my capture page, I usually capture their cell phone information right off the bat. So I actually don't, in my funnels and stuff like that I do, I don't actually use the bridge page that you have, that's kind of in the middle there.
This part.
Yeah, I don't use that. I push that out into my capture page, and then I add something else on the front of my capture page. Should I go into that real quick?
Sure.
Okay. So what I do is, so backing to the left side of the screen here where it's got Instagram and Facebook, and it could be, again, it could be any kind of lead generating method. Susan's also got classifieds, which includes Craigslist, Backpage. It could
Sorry.
be whoa.
I'm getting dizzy.
It could be a YouTube video. It could be anything like that at all that brings somebody to what your offer is. So they're going to go and click on a funnel. So I could show mine if you want.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know how I take control of this.
At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a green box with an arrow, share screen.
Oh, okay. So hang on one second. Let me check my screen here real quick and see what I got on here. Okay, so.
And at this point, like literally, the funnel can look however you choose, but the most important thing is that you keep it as simple as possible, or use the funnel that you have, but to understand what it is, the 1, 2, 3 steps and the flow through.
Yep.
And there's going to be a lot of different intricacies that you can do in between there, but that's the basics.
Yep. So, and by the way, there's not necessarily the right, well, there is somewhat right way, wrong way. I do it a little bit different in the funnel that I set up and use. And, oops, where's my screen here? Let's see. Ah, there we go. I was surprised by that. It's asked me what document it wants me to show. So here's mine. I have somebody go to, can you see that? I can see it on mine, so I don't know if you can see it on yours.
Yeah.
So mine is, I do a survey up front. This is what we really call, in marketing terms, we call it a micro commitment. So it's also called a binary question. It's just a simple yes or no. And so I throw something out. By the way, I always like the word legitimate. I always use the word legitimate as much as I can. Are you looking for legitimate? Because I feel like it differentiates from, in their mindset, stuff that's not legitimate. That there's so many things that are out there. So yeah, I actually would be looking for something that's legitimate. So why not tell them that? So then I ask a simple binary question, yes or well, yeah, I am. So in this case, then the next question is have you ever made money online? And by the way, the reason I do the first part of that is Susan already knows, is what I do this for is I want them to actually take action. That's the whole purpose of having a survey.
Yeah.
And one of the traffic guys, actually, one of the traffic guys I love that you referred me to, he actually doesn't like surveys. In fact, he told me, yeah, I don't like surveys. I don't blah, blah, blah. I just tell him, okay, well, that's how I do it. So
yeah.
Do it however you like to do it.
And you're going to have people tell you one way or another, and you'll see what works for you, and then you go. Yep.
So I use this survey because what I want them to do is I want them to click. I don't want them to make any judgments. I don't give them any information. I want them to click. Now mine, they click yes or no. It doesn't matter. I still take them to the next question. Have you ever made money online? Well, now once they've actually clicked, I'm trying to think what the word is. It's called like the 3 C's. And it's like commitment, consistency, continuity, or something. And there's like a scientific brain kind of a thing that once you actually begin, your brain really seeks completion. And so once they've actually clicked the first time, it's almost like for sure that they're going to click the next time. And then it actually gets more. So, well, have I ever made money online? Let's say no. So then I ask them, well, how much have you made? Which actually really doesn't fit if they've said no. But then I give them, now what I've done, instead of having binary questions, they've already clicked twice on just one thing and took them to the next question. Now I'm actually going to start asking for more. And so in this case, what I do is I like to ask them, like, well, how much have you made online? What kind of success have you had? Oh, I've made, $1 to $1 or something, whatever it would be. And so now there's 2 actions that they take. They don't just get away with clicking one thing and to go to the next question. They actually have to check a box. It's multiple. There's not just 2 questions. There's actually 5 questions. And then they actually have to go on to the next thing. Now I've conditioned them and said, okay, well, you've already checked the box. Now they're like, so now they're kind of more enrolled. How much are you looking for? So this is really the main question. And then, I start out my survey with 1,000 a day. And so I'll just finish it. It doesn't really matter. Again, all of these actually lead the same place. And then for me, I bring them to a page that I talk about myself. And
hey there, Rob Hanley.
So in this case, I'm doing, the reason that I do a video up front is because I want to tell them right off the bat, hey, I'm a really big deal. And I don't try to come off like this in our group, and I'm not trying to tell you I am, man, this is marketing stuff. There's nothing here that's not true, but I'll have them go through and overall complete a survey, and I'm actually asking them for more information. So the difference is, for example, I know a page that you have that converts really, really, really well. It has almost no information on it at all. And it has, what is it, just an email, or is it a name in an email? It's like, hey, do you want to make money? Like, and it's like a white page, right?
Yes, just email.
So here's the thing as well, is cool as whatever I might show you and all the kind of stuff like that, it actually doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is what the fish are biting on. It doesn't matter how cool like we think our bait is and all the kind of stuff like that, and look at this great thing. It only matters of what they bite on. And strangely enough, simple pages like you can show that in a moment, the page that is with the white background, that page is I find really has a need overall for the bridge page, because you enroll them in, you cast this really wide net for that page that you have. That is the simple white background page. You get way more opt-ins than I get with this. For sure, like probably 20% more. So you already are putting way more people on your list than I put on my list doing it this way.
Right.
And so again, not better at all, because actually, in fact, if I were to say better, I would say that what you're doing is actually better, because you're building a bigger list than I am building overall along. So in this is the reason why you understand, of course, why I don't use a bridge page, because I've already got the video all about me right up front. Exactly. So I never drive them back to me overall ever again. So in the part where you're showing, maybe we can turn my screen off, because that was all I really wanted to demonstrate, was just the survey up front. And but the main thing is that there is, at some point, there's some kind of a connection, video connection with you or your mentor, the person that you're working with, to say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and if you're watching this, that's all. Actually, that's what I said. The video for my team members, I still use myself, and it says, you're watching this because I'm either personally, you've either landed on something on one of my own advertisements, or somebody that I'm personally working with. And so that means that I'm going to be talking to you also. I don't want them to try to have to go find anybody, something like that. That if I'm going to be the guy, I want them to know that actually they're going to talk to me because they came to somebody that I'm working with. And so same kind of a concept overall as the bridge page. But can we go back to your page, to the
yes. So you just hover on the top of the screen, and it'll give you the option to stop share.
Stop share. There we go. Okay. So if we go back over to your screen, if you can pop that up.
And you want the
one with the circles, yep.
Mm-hmm. One moment, I'll pull that up.
So I guess this is kind of cool, because we get a couple of different examples. Maybe you might even want to pop up one of your pages. Even maybe I'm thinking of that white page.
Yeah, that's the one I'll grab. So you can keep talking while I'm pulling that up.
So the first part is we generate a lead. The second part is there's a capture page, and then part of that is overall what we say when like I do the calls for Tinem and stuff, is that we say is that we build a rapport with somebody. And so we do that a number of ways. We're actually following up with, texting and saying, hey, get on a call, or we have morning calls or something like that, or we have a short conversation. I like to have texting back and forth. And so that's part of the rapport building. And then this comes into the piece, like now we're going to kind of tell them a little bit about follow the instructions. Byron was on today, and he's like, I got somebody that's asking me about, what's the business? And I told them, he's telling me, I told them to go through and watch the movies and fill out the form, but they keep asking me what's the business? So, well, that's not a good sign for that person at all, because that shows that they cannot follow instructions and they're not coachable and teachable. And what you don't know is I just spent about 65 cents to actually get you to my website. So, it's not a big deal. So, I told them to answer cleverly. It's a legitimate business. It's a profitable business. It's my business. And your next step is to actually go back and watch the movies and fill out the forms. And if you can't do that, then I wish you all the best. So anyhow,
you never want to fall into that trap of doing the explaining, because then they think that they have to.
And that is exactly the point. So even with another guy, he's not on right now, that I love that page. That's a beautiful, phenomenal page. So with my buddy Leighton, that just got started, I was talking to him today about, as you're following up with them, this is a duplication business. So they're going to be placing themselves in your shoes to see, do I want to do what you're doing now to me? That's what they want to see. And by the way, sometimes they'll almost psychologically give you a hard time. Like this guy's like, well, what's the business? What's this, that, and the other? Because, he's probably trying to see how you're going to react to it. Well, the way I would react to it is a little bit congenial, but I want to find out, like, are you going to be able to follow directions? It's kind of business where I'm the boss and you're not. I have the ball. You asked to play with me. If you don't want to play by my rules, then, I just, no problem, man. Like, there's, lots of fish in the sea. It's not a big deal.
That's right. And something else that will happen, and it's really not talked about that much. And interestingly enough, earlier today when I was talking about lead generation with Joe, I was teaching lead generation, and Joe brought this up. Sometimes you're going to get that person that's almost like playing mouse. Or cat and mouse. They're the professional prospect, and they're curious, and they're essentially looking at everything. And they're going to be the people that are going to ask those incessant, ongoing questions. They're quite likely not to be the action taker. So, so don't worry too much about them, because they may not be someone that is going to take action and learn and grow and be able to follow those directions. And it's fine.
Exactly.
There's many more fish in the sea.
Yeah. I muted out because I've got a little discussion in the background here with my wife and my daughter. So
that's all cool.
In my office, but I decided to do the call from my living room here tonight. So
that's the cool thing about, we work from wherever we are, and we're real people, and we have real families, and that is just exactly what happens. So I would like, and I've done that so many times. So all of you that are here with us, we've been talking about this for about 30 minutes. And this is the point I would love. Do you have questions? Did we simplify things for you? Did this give you any aha moments? What do you have to say about what we've shared with you? And I think that we will do the follow-up and asking for the decision. I think that's going to be really powerful to put all three pieces together. And then it's actually, and just in case, if you're new to when we do these Hangout with mentors, they're meant as a resource for members, and they're almost always evergreen. So for you to go back to, maybe you missed it, or maybe you weren't quite ready for it, or you want to go back and review something, or you want to send it to one of your prospects, potential partners that's interested, and you want to give them either a sample of what happens, what we do, how we hang out in this community, and the kind of things that happen, and that's the leverage part of it, right? You leverage the leaders in the community, you leverage the value of being in a culture. You leverage having access to this kind of thing. So definitely use this, and use it as a time to reach out and ask questions. Where do I find a survey to use?
The whole survey, I just built my own, but there's surveys that are out there. And if you want to utilize a survey, there's like Survey Monkey. You could Google.
I've used Survey Monkey, and you can Google Docs. You can create a survey in Google Docs. There's Survey Monkey, mysurveysomething.com. Which service are you using? Rob?
The one that I created out of thin air. I just made it up.
There you go.
I just,
Like
made
what,
it up.
what platform do you make it on?
That's all. It's actually a WordPress site, and that's all that it is. I mean, that's it would be obviously a whole different training, but it's a WordPress site that I put together, and then it's got a plugin in it that's it's got a survey plugin in it. Actually, a nice investment. I think I bought that survey plugin, a few years ago. Of course, there's always a training curve on it too. That's one thing to buy something. The other thing is to actually take the time and to learn how to use it and put it into work and action, which is it took me about a day to figure out originally.
Right.
But and the point, by the way, not to Jim, is that, hey, the surveys, wow, that's the greatest way, because again, back to this white page that you have here, it actually generates a lot more opt-ins than my page will generate, because there's a smaller buy-in when they get to the opt-in. All that they do on that white page is they just put in their name and their email, and then they're going to go to a bridge page or something like that. They're going to see a video, and then they're going to look at the offer and all and everything downstream from that. And you can keep driving them back to a bridge page. Like I know that you guys that a lot of times what you do is you send them back to a page and tell them to do a callback request, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the second call to action that I use is asking them, like, if you're serious and you want to speak directly with me, fill out this form. So fill out this callback request.
Yeah.
And if you'd rather just go ahead and immediately schedule an appointment, you can schedule an appointment.
That's cool. I don't do that. I like that a lot, actually.
I've been testing back and forth, and I keep on going back to that method because it is working. It just works really well.
Schedule an appointment. Yeah.
Yeah, that and the callback request. Because once they've given me the number and they've requested a callback, then now I have their phone number. And it's just another level of commitment. It doesn't mean that they're a solid action taker. A lot of those calls, like, maybe 30% of them actually don't really want to talk to you, but it's very easy to sort those out. And then they get text messages afterwards.
Yeah.
Just broadcast.
I follow up personally, and somebody was asking me, well, how do you really scale this up really, really big? How do you deal with lots of people? I mean, that we started to run through some numbers, and we're like, gosh, that'd be so many people to follow up with. I'm going to send texts out to all these people. And I said, well, you'd hire an assistant at that point. And then the question was, well, if you're following up personally with everybody, how does the assistant follow up? Which leads me into the booking an appointment. So the assistant is like, hi, I'm calling this is John or Mary or whoever it is, and I'm calling from Susan Bachelder's office. We're actually getting back to you, which, by the way, makes you seem pretty big. And we're getting back to you, and you'd gone to our website, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We wanted to know, have you had a chance to look at things? I'm calling you to schedule some time with her. So it's almost a callback request in reverse. When is good for you? This is when Susan's calendar is this and this and this. Nope, I can't do then. Friday at such and such. Does that work for you? Okay, great. Can you be by your phone? Can you be this? Can you be that? Can you do, et cetera, et cetera. And so I love the whole idea of a calendar and booking an appointment.
Yeah, and there's something about that. I mean, it edifies you, and I've outsourced and it's really not expensive to outsource it. And then I've also had Samuel make those calls as well.
Your son,
yeah,
little slave labor.
Yeah, and both work. And sometimes the response is, yeah, of course I want to talk to her. And there's some storytelling, and so you want to make sure on each step of the way, like, take notes. So if it's somebody else doing your calls, you want to make sure to give them guidelines that you want, like what kind of notes, and set up a spreadsheet. So I have spreadsheets. Each month has a spreadsheet, and their name, their email, and a box for the notes, and the date that they opted in. So I could go back to January and open up that spreadsheet. It's all color coded, who answered, who was interested, who took the next step, and then the no answers are left white. So you can always go back to those people that were interested.
Yeah, and all we're looking to do is to sift and sort. We're just looking to do as quickly as we can. To sort out if somebody's going to be able to, that we're going to be able to work with somebody. And, I run into, I don't want to say a lot, but I run into, it seems like a decent amount of people that'll say, yeah, I'm on disability or something like that. I hear that a lot, or I'm on Social Security, or it's like I'm eating cat food basically, or, something like that type of a thing. And it's just, I'm sorry, it's just not going to be a fit. There's not somebody if you're that situation, you probably don't have anybody you can borrow from. You've been on disability for 9 years, 12 years or something like that. It's probably not going to happen. You'd be surprised, potentially, but you can kind of somewhat quickly decide whether something's going to be a fit or not. And if they're not able to buy from us, it's, we want to be nice people and, all the kind of stuff like that. But our time is very valuable. So as quickly as you can say, I don't think it's going to be a fit. One of the other qualifiers for me, I always like to ask 3 questions. And again, we can do this in a part where we kind of follow up and close, or maybe get to the end of the funnel. But the 3 questions I always ask everybody is, I will say, and my style, by the way, is I actually ask permission to ask a question. So in the beginning, I will say something like, hey, as I we're kind of getting going here, I don't let them generally ask me a lot of questions, other than I'll tell them, yeah, it's a great business. I'm getting back to you about it. It's profitable. It's this, that, and the other. And then it's a little bit interview style. It's friendly, but at the same time, I'm the one that's in control. And then I'll say something like, is it okay if by the way, I usually ask people a couple of questions. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Which probably puts them off, because they're maybe expecting me to sell them or something like that, or tell them, to vomit all over them about how great my business is and all this kind of stuff like that. And I usually ask them, and we're kind of rapport building too. I mean, obviously, if there's something, a particular city, or there's something that was in the news, or your brother lives in wherever it would be, there's normal stuff. I call it Christmas party conversation. It's not, it's just small talk. It's kind of, oh, wow, you live in Florida. How's the weather down there? I'm in, Saskatchewan. I mean, it's freezing up here. It's what, gosh, I wish I was there. I bet you're wearing shorts right now or something, like whatever it might be. Yeah, God, I love it. It's such and such. Oh, wow, when'd you move to? Something like that. Well, okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about the business. This is what we call rapport building. It's I don't know I can really do a class and kind of teach it. It's just, I call it Christmas party conversation. It's like the kind of stuff you get from being a nice person that how to kind of, chit chat. And especially if you've ever dated before, or you gotten married, you probably know how to do this. It's like, you don't just walk up and say, hey, you want to marry me? I mean, you have to, like, well, what
I
do you
actually
do
have,
wrong?
when we get into that part, remind me if I forget, Rob, but I have a whole list that I put together of open-ended questions that are great for rapport building. So
I would love that. I think we should post that in the Facebook group. I think that would be really awesome.
yeah, they're in AMP.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So they're an AMP.
Yeah, I can post them. I can give everybody a freebie, the people that don't have it.
The 3 questions I always ask, though, is I want to know. I'll ask them, hey, is it okay if I ask you a little bit about, and I say I always like to ask 3 questions. And by the way, I also kind of gauge my energy and even my speech patterns and stuff for the energy level of who it is that I'm talking to. I'm going to talk different if I've got a fast-paced New Yorker type of person, or I've got somebody that's a gal that's 60 that lives in Montana or something like that, or whatever it might be. But I'll say, hey, there's 3 questions I like. Number 1 is, what tell me about yourself. What kind of work do you do? How do you pay the bills? And sometimes I'll just ask that one, let them answer it. Then I'll ask my second question, which is, so what makes you look at our business? Why are you looking? What are you looking to do? I mean, and then I always offer the answer. Is it something like you're trying to pay off debt, or you pay your house off, or you're putting a kid through college? I mean, what's your story? Why do you hate your job? What is it? And then they'll be like, yeah, well, I'm such and such and such and such. And I was once, a lot of time it was like I was once making this kind of money and I just need to get back. And I wonder if these things are, these things I see, can you really? And I'll say, okay, great. They are true. So then I'll ask them, the third question is, how much money do you want to make? So let me know. So if they tell me, and this comes back around to the qualification part, if they tell me that, yeah, well, I'm looking to make about $1,000 a month or something like that, then I'll say, yeah, probably is not going to be a fit for you. And then I let that kind of sit for a second, because sometimes you want to be able to give somebody a chance. And I'll say, I'm really actually looking for people that want to make, like they want to make 5 figures a month. They want to make 6 figures a year. And the right kind of person will say, well, yeah, I want to make that. I didn't know it was possible. Can you really do that? That's, then you go, yeah, it actually is. You really can do that. And that's what I look for. That's what we do here. If somebody says, oh, well, okay, all right, well, thanks, then it's like, thank God you didn't spend more time with that person, putting them through your marketing funnel and anything like that. If they just cave that quickly and they go, okay, well, I guess it's back to the, cat food mill or whatever they do,
Yeah.
then you're just like, okay, great. Well, I need cat food. So, I'm glad that you work there.
Exactly. And does everybody remember that, like right near the bottom of the funnel where I had the word positioning? That's what Rob just described. I'm looking for people that want to make 5 figures a month, 6 figures a year. Your position.
And it's kind of shifting and sorting.
Yes.
I mean, if I dipped my pan into the creek and I sorted it around, I looked at it and I go, is that a nugget of gold? Oh, no, that's not a nugget of gold. Is that a nugget of gold? No, that's not a nugget of gold. And not to say that we discard people. I mean, I try to be really nice to them. If there's something that I think, sometimes I'll tell people, yeah, I'll pray for you. Or what's your such and such, or I'll listen to them. Maybe there's some illness or something like that. I'll tell them that breaks my heart. Or if I know of some way that I can actually help them or point them in a direction, I always do that. I want to try to leave people better than I found them. But from a business perspective, I want to move on to the next person as fast as I possibly can.
And they're on your email list at this point, are they not?
They are, for sure. They're on my email list.
If they go through your emails and decide that they're a fit, they're going to reach out. They're going to take action anyway.
Exactly. So, and then it's kind of rapport building too. And maybe something happens and their situation changes and they're going to, say, gosh, well, sometimes I come back to you and go, I've just been thinking about this for a long time and I couldn't escape it, and I think this is the best, and such and such and such and such. I mean, you kind of want to develop a good reputation online too,
Mm-hmm.
So, but
one of our members reminded me earlier this morning, Rob, Carolyn, actually, she's very active in our group. She reminded me that she attended these Hangout with Mentors for a full year. She attended them faithfully, didn't reach out, didn't connect, didn't say a word for a whole year until she took action. Now she's one of those FAT people that Jim talks about. Faithful, available, teachable, very attentive, and a very productive, active member.
People have to have the belief overall that they're going to do it. So, I would tell anybody that I love Joe's statement that he goes, this business works 100% of the time for 100% of the time for 100% of the people that work the business. For sure, if you just actually show up, a blind squirrel, finds a nut once in a while, and you're going to pick things up that, some of the little phraseologies that I may say or I may not say, and you're like, oh, that's good. I just heard somebody say it once upon a time, and maybe I wrote it down even, or, something like that. And the main thing is not even to try to be clever or anything like that, but it's to authentically connect with somebody. Short conversations, let the website do all the stuff. Don't let anybody tell you, hey, well, what is it, or this, that, and the other, where you're telling or selling. It's not freaky, but at the same time, you go, yeah, our system's pretty automated. I've heard Jim Young say this, that he'll say, people will ask, well, what is it? Can you explain it to me? He goes, no, the website explains everything. It's kind of the point. Go back to the website. It'll explain everything, and then I'll fill in any kind of details. But no, I don't do that. Which
yeah, we're calling you a nut, Jim.
Which is duplicatable. It's something that they can think to themselves, well, I could do that. I could tell somebody to go back to the website in a nice way. It's not like, oh, no, I'm not going to tell you that. It's not like it's a secret, but it's like, yeah, we don't do that. That takes my time to do that. Don't want to do it. It does it very well. And, again, part of the whole thing is maybe this is not for you also.
Yeah. And remember that people always have 3 questions, whether they're aware of it or not. They have 3 questions. Does it work? What is it? Does it work? Will it work for me? And can I do it that makes it work?
I have the same questions in a different phraseology. Is it true? Is it true for me? Is it true? Like, you guys really
Yeah.
making that? Is it true? Is it this true?
Really? Yeah.
Really? Then the second one is, maybe it's true for you. Is it true for me?
Yes.
That's really the biggest question. And then the third one is, man, I work a job. My husband, my wife is kind of negative. I got to do this on a little bit of the down low. I only have weekends. I only got it at nighttime. I only got this, that, and the other. Like,
Can I do it?
You, but is it going to work for me? Like in my schedule? Like, my schedule is pretty unique. I have 15 children. We have somebody in our group that has 15 children between 2 years old and 15 years old. Anyhow, that's and that's the third thing. And I would say on the short number of hours that it is, and the fact that we're following up with people, but it is not like an urgent care situation, like somebody's going to die at the emergency room if we don't follow up with them, and this lead is going to expire. If you can get back to people within 15 minutes, that's when I say from the time that they opt in. If you have their phone number, when I get their phone number, so about 10 or 15 minutes after they opt in, I send them a text message. And I'll just tell you what my text message all the time is I ask them, are you a real person? That's my text message, basically. I say a little bit more, hey, this is Rob. I want to know if you're a real person. But I want them to respond to me. That's the main thing I want them to do. Like, what do you mean am I a real person? Yeah, I'm a real person, but now they've engaged. So then I'll say, hey, I'm really sorry. It's kind of a funny, I'm texting back. But I know it's kind of strange, this, that, and the other. I just wanted to make sure. Are you actually looking for legit business to make some money in? Yes, I am. Now they're engaging.
Actually, yes, I am. Yeah, I like that.
They're engaging back and forth. They're going to say my situation. Sometimes they'll tell you longer or shorter. Sometimes they'll disqualify themselves right off the bat. I'm broke as a joke, and I'm this, that, and the other, and I can't even have enough money to pay attention, and and something like that. And other times it's different. And then you can have a back and forth. But the main thing is you're going to have kind of a little bit of a conversation and an engagement. And all you're doing is kind of shifting and sorting to see like, okay, is that one or it's not? But you don't even really get to find out what they do for work and stuff until they actually reply back to you. And that's kind of what I think the whole part of this is that we're just going to get into a spot and say, great, okay, well, terrific, go to a call. Okay, terrific, well, then go to, and that's how it is.
Absolutely. Keep it simple.
Yep. What questions do people have? I like Jim saying
there's
people.
No questions.
Jim said it's a pyramid scheme. I saw that. I had somebody fill out the form the other day, and they go, it looks like a pyramid scheme, but that's okay to me.
I want the pyramid scheme.
Yeah. So I don't know. I actually don't know where they get that from, especially when we're talking about like a one-up type of a thing. Like it's so simple. Like, I don't know. I mean, a pyramid is like where you have somebody at the top and then he gets a cut of everything. Yeah. Like your job is a pyramid. The government is a pyramid. I mean, the military's where somebody at the top gets everything you do, I get a little piece of that. Everything you do, I get a little piece of it. This is like you pass one sale up, you make all the money. I don't understand how it's just brain deadness.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Well, we're at the top of the hour, so if you don't have any questions, this is what we got for you. And we gave you a little extra.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll definitely.
Looks like you got a raised hand, I think. Karen, is that right?
Yeah, Karen. Come on out, Karen. You're unmuted, Karen. Welcome. Hi.
I just wanted to pop out and say hi. I'll have to catch the replay because I just woke up.
Oh, that's all right.
I was wondering if, I saw the topic. I ran on Facebook and I thought, I know, worry, doubt, and fear. Did you guys talk about that at all tonight? Worry, doubt, and fear?
No, we didn't. Funnels. The essential, like the core topic is the funnel. So the anatomy of the funnel.
I saw that.
We got into.
I'm sorry. I saw something else on Facebook that Tammy put about things that are getting in the way of your business or something. So my first thought was worry, doubt, and fear.
Oh, okay. No, that I don't know what she's posting because I've been laser focused right here.
Yeah. Well, I know it'll be a good replay, so I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for coming out every week and helping everybody this way. It's awesome.
You're welcome. Thanks for popping on. Yeah, we did. We broke apart the simplicity and the anatomy of the funnel and showed some visuals and mind map and stuff. So I'll get the recording out as soon as possible. I don't think we'll have to edit it at all. I think I'll just toss it up. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks, Karen. It's good you're recovering from your surgery so well. You must be feeling much better.
Oh, yeah. I got my stitches out today, and I actually been sleeping through most of the whole thing, and that's made a big difference. So thank you.
It does. You have to rest through it, and then that powers you up.
Okay.
Okay.
See ya. Yeah.
Good call.
Really good. Thanks so much for everything that you added, Rob. I think we really shared some value tonight. I'm happy.
I love the mind maps. I think that's so cool, and how methodical you are in kind of putting that whole thing out there. I just, I want to make things as systematized and methodical and duplicatable as possible. And I just want to convey that it's easy, but at the same time, I don't want to just kind of string things together where it's so all over the place. You go, how can I even begin to follow that? So I'm really glad that you bring kind of the systemization of it. This, and then this, and then this, and this is what's happening. 3 steps all the time. Build a lead, generate a lead, build a little bit of rapport, and then, collect the sale, or what do we say is step number 3? I mean,
the decision. Collect the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, the decision, or people get started, then it's kind of, we just wash, rinse, and repeat and do it again.
Absolutely. And the one that I had, the flow chart that I had before for that, it just needed updating. So I'll finish building that out, and then I'll share it with everybody, because
awesome.
I find people will do the process better if they can visualize in their mind the flow of the funnel. So our brains, we all learn differently. As Karen would know, she's a teacher. So
yep, and then just keep following
That's
up.
what I need.
I love texting and stuff like that. I think I'd like to do almost a call on how to use the morning call and how to follow up. And I know Jim does that a lot too. He texts people and things. So yeah, it'd be great.
So the next week we're going to talk about follow-up. We're going to talk about that. And Jim,
great.
I hope you can come, because there's some like specific drip things that Jim does. So come out and enjoy. And this is a topic that Karen, that you've done a lot. So that gives you a week to prepare and maybe invite people. We're going to do follow-up next week.
And practice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay. Good night,
Great
everybody.
stuff. Thanks, everybody.
Good night.